Wasteland's got its own golden rule.
Oh, what's that?
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, The Mighty Bjorn, and today for you have a brand new Dungeons & Dragons video. And while it's primarily focused on Dungeons & Dragons, you'll probably be able to glean and use information from this that will work really for any TTRPG. And that is because today I am going to be discussing side quest. Side quest has over the years definitely become a staple, especially with video games. And what's interesting is even the Amazon Fallout series makes a great reference to it, which, one will get sidetracked by BS every time. Ain't that a true story? That happens quite often, even within tabletop gaming. So let's take some time, discuss side quest, and essentially what are side quests. And with that being said, well, it's pretty simple. It's just a little side helping from the main story of your game. Your game is going to have a beginning, a middle, an end, and essentially that's the side quest, though. They're going to have their own story that's going to fabricate their own beginning, middle, and end. And they're not going to provide really any bearing on the main quest outside of maybe some of the long-term rewards might give the players an advantage later down the road. Things like gold, magic items, maybe connections. And essentially what they do is they provide a break from the main story. And that's kind of the nice thing about side quest. I have my players doing side quests more often than the campaign. The campaign I have created is actually relatively short, but has some really great high points in it. But what I'm doing is I'm using side quests mainly as a filler and as a way to get the players leveled up, get them equipment, get them gold, etc. It also lets me basically give the players a chance to explore the world. It lets them explore the world as well as explore the lore of the world. Instead of sitting there giving them all the lore at once, I can sit there and give them little cookie crumbles so they can learn about different types of things that has happened in the world over the years, different types of lore with creatures, religions, etc. So I can kind of give them little snippets instead of some kind of 10-page expose of why the dragons exist or whatever. And now with that being said, it needs to be pointed out too that these are optional quests. Okay, so that needs to be stated up front too. And yes, they should provide decent rewards, and not necessarily always long-term rewards, but essentially the rewards are always more often than not will be some type of long-term reward. Like I said, magic items, gold, XP, connections, all that is going to be long-term rewards. Now, with that being said, when creating a side quest, it's going to use a basic quest template. Like I said a bit ago, you're going to have a beginning, a middle, an end, and that's the story of the side quest itself. And realistically, you're not going to do anything differently with your side quest. I would say the main difference between the side quest and the campaign quest is the campaign quest is going to be longer, more in depth. There's going to be more story to it than with a side quest. Side quest should be relatively short. Now, what are the different types of quests you could do? Well, fetch quest is a big one. Always going to fetch something. Hey, go fetch this. Hey, go fetch that. I need you to find this talisman. Or, I need you to, I've heard of rumors about this rare item. I want you to go, I will pay you to go find it for me. And, whatever else you find, you get to keep. I just want this old dusty old book I heard about within this dungeon. Great fetch quest. Of course, you always got the good old kill quest, may it be a bounty or, slay these goblins that keep ambushing our convoys or whatever. Usually, a kill quest is going to be either some type of preemptive strike or there's some kind of creature in the area that's being a hindrance to whatever. More often than not, it's probably going to be related to shipping, as things, traveling merchants and things like that is going to be really important. Trade is going to be really important from kingdom to kingdom and city to city. So a kill quest is probably going to be wrapped up in that. If there's some kind of monster or group of bandits or whatever, that's being a nuisance to your caravans. And also, while discussing caravans, protection quest. I don't know, protect the prince as he goes from point A to point B. Protect this wagon as it goes from point A to point B. That's pretty much what protection quests are. Um, of course, being a bodyguard, that would be a type of a protection quest. Then you also have delivery quests, which, well, that's another one. Kind of explains itself. You're taking something and delivering it. I I made a really simple, short delivery quest. One of the characters stopped at the weaponsmith, and the weaponsmith had created a sword for the local baron. And he didn't have enough time to walk away from his shop to deliver it to said local baron, and he was willing to pay the character 20 gold to go deliver the sword to the local baron. Now, of course, he could have screwed the weaponsmith and decided, nah, you know what, I'll keep this sword for myself. But the character actually did deliver the sword to the baron, and that is a delivery quest. Of course, there is also the investigation quest, where essentially they might be investigating something. You might know this as a mystery quest, and essentially that's what it's surrounded by. Maybe they're investigating some kind of old haunted house or something like that, or maybe people believe that the local graveyard is haunted. So maybe the characters are going to set up an investigation to find out the truth if this local graveyard is haunted or not. And then, of course, the final one I would argue is exploration quest. And that's essentially the characters are just exploring and they find a dungeon or an old tower or an old set of ruins or maybe an old mine or a cave somewhere. And this is not necessarily something that they're going to be asked to do. This is probably going to be something they might do on their own. Maybe they just decide, you know what, let's go this direction for a little while, and they so happen to stumble upon the dungeon. And then again, too, characters could end up getting paid to explore a certain area. Now, there is different ways of employing side quests. I'm going to kind of give a good base, a really short basis here of different ways you could employ side quests. And one of those is rumors. I've actually discussed using rumors within Dungeons and Dragons, so that might be a video you're going to want to go check out. But yeah, basically the word of mouth rumors. Hey, I heard that there's some kind of werewolf that lives up in these hills, so no one goes exploring those hills at night. Blah blah blah. That's good for rumors. Of course, you could always use the old quest board. This is something one of my very early game masters actually employed a quest board, or at least that's what we called it. It was more like a job board, if you will, urgent detective needed, or, whatever, easy gold, stuff like that. And it's actually really interesting to see the fact that The Witcher 3 actually deployed the same idea. I was actually kind of tickled pink by that because it's something I've never seen deployed in a video game before, but God, the trope, it's got to be old as dirt. It's got to go all the way back to maybe not quite OD&D, but yeah, pretty far back. Of course, the players could get hired by a quest giver. Maybe, the local tavern owner needs something delivered, or maybe he needs something picked up and delivered to him. Maybe the local merchant needs to make sure that his package is delivered by a caravan. So he hires you to essentially protect the package, whatever. So the players may get hired by a quest giver. Finally, the other one I would say is lore. Maybe they find information out in a book and they just decide to go explore to see if they can't find any truth to the ruins that's in the book or the map or the stone tapestry or whatever you decide to go with. But another one I would say is lore. Anyway, folks, hopefully you all enjoyed this video and got some ideas of deploying side quests. Thank you very much for tuning in and have yourself a wonderful day.